Chapter 1 Form W9BBM was for the movement of money from different locations in the Omniverse. Form 8ENF regulated the transfer of ownership rights within the Omniverse, and Form 90-567 standardized the rate of withholding tax on monetary payments from Earth. The forms were sent to all the United Nations members in secret to be reviewed before the UN vote in the coming months. The documents originated from the think tank IPEM, which had contributions from the U.S. Council on Foreign Relations, Chatham House, Ford Foundation, Carnegie Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Mercer Foundation, and J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation. IPEM's sister think tank on Omniverse matters was the Answer Group, which was affiliated with the Future Foundation that was headed by Dr. Reed Richards. Answer provided grants and scholarships for university studies on the Omniverse, both on Earth and on friendly territories in the Omniverse. The Wakanda spy Nakia, on the behest of T'Challa, the chairman of the Omniverse Avengers, investigated both the IPEM and Answer under the alias of Catherine Casey, a lawyer. She discovered that a person by the code name Ares was the unseen participant in the formation and direction of the think tanks, which were fronts for the Hydra network. Nakia located Ares' residence, a house called the Immortel in the Gladio section of Rome. Wakandan censors deemed that the Immortel had the same interdimensional energy signatures like Doctor Strange's house in New York, and when she arrived at the front gates she met Nicholas Fury, who prevented her from entering. "Are you a cyborg copy of Nicholas Fury?" asked Nakia. "I am the real deal," replied Fury. "So you say. How can I help you? T'Challa sent you on a quest and it has to end here. Are you Ares?" "No." "Do you know who Ares is, or should I tell you?" "I doubt that you know," said Fury. Leonardo da Vinci was born under the zodiac sign Aries. He also named himself after the Greek god of war when he gained immortality, because through war can societies be changed, as quoted by him in a Carnegie Foundation Board of Directors meeting on the eve of World War I, said Nakia. "Shall I go on?" Fury stared blankly at her. Nakia said, "The American Civil War produced the first military submarine, World War I birthed the widespread use of mustard gas and the League of Nations, World War II gave the world the atomic bomb and the UN, the Cold War gave rise to the Internet and NATO, the impending Omniverse Wars will hand authority of the Omniverse Avengers over to Ares and introduce the Star Bridge." The common thread being that scientific and social changes were brought on by great wars influenced by Ares. Nicholas Fury's body metamorphed into a white-bearded cyborg. "You Wakandans are very persistent. Still to this day I never understood why you got involved with the Rhodesia affair, but I have made up for it," said Leonardo da Vinci. "By creating D'Shang," said Nakia. "I did not create D'Shang, he did that for himself. He was an unexpected gift for my vision of the Omniverse, or as I call it, the shared universe," said da Vinci. "Come inside so we can discuss this further." Nakia accepted the invitation from the father of both Hydra and its countermeasure shield. Chapter 2 On a parallel Earth ruled by the Hydra Lord D'Shang, the Techno-Jungle. The beep on M. Koni's Kimoyo bracelet meant that T'Challa and Shuri were captured in the teleportation net and brought to the Techno-Jungle. M. Koni rose from the prayer mat and saluted the Black Panther masks of her forefathers that were on the wall in front of her. She picked up the double-blade sword of Bashanga while her Black Panther uniform came out of her necklace and then ran over her body like an organism. She had no intention of a prolonged fight with the siblings, hence she left nano-robots in T'Challa's cell that deactivated and disintegrated his Black Panther uniform. Shuri's cell was padded with gravitation plates connected to an artificial intelligence which adjusted the fields to make Shuri heavier whenever she used her superhuman speed. Yet M. Koni saw no one in the cells on her hologram feed. She built the Techno-Jungle so she trusted her inventions to perform their tasks. And her instruments showed that the siblings were captured although she couldn't see them. Her net had searched for the siblings' unique teleportation frequency. Now she had to think through what had occurred. They shrunk themselves with PIM particles and then teleport to get by the conventional security, said M. Coney. She left the subterranean techno-jungle knowing that the siblings would follow her. To pass the time she walked amongst the vibranium statues that were ubiquitous on her island Isle of the Black Panther cult. The great mound of the vibranium meteor was already depleted through mining by the time M. Coney was born and the island was in decline. Even the other African ocean islands mocked the Black Panther cult for falling so low. Chang brought respect back to the Black Panther cult name when he made them a special military regiment. The other islands like Nigeria and Angola were not pleased that an island as small as M. Coney's was given that honor. She was wooed by Chang shortly after she won the title of cult leader through combat and they married a year later. Chapter 3 M. Coney's hyper-senses alerted her to the siblings' presence in the Panther totem that was in the center of the island. The Black Panther uniform was originally kept in the totem until the leader of the cult claimed it. T'Challa and Shuri sat aloft on the golden stools that were in the totem. "Did you come to fight or to sit idly?" asked M. Coney. "If you really loved Chang then you will listen to us," said Shuri and holstered the spear that she carried. Said M. Coney. "Chang will be betrayed and killed by his Hydra associates after his universities in the Omniverse perform their intended Hydra fascism revolutions," said T'Challa. "Chang cannot be killed," said M. Coney. "Leonardo da Vinci created Chang's immortality," said T'Challa. "Who?" asked M. Coney. "He is a scientist like you, a time traveler and a social engineer," replied Shuri. "If you know so much then why are you not dealing with him? As we speak he is being handled but Chang also has to be dealt with," replied T'Challa. "I will not allow that now get out of my ancestor's place," said M. Coney. She walked backwards out of the totem and pressed a Kimoyo bead that sent the structure slowly into the ground. Chapter 4 Leonardo da Vinci offered Nakia a drink of 3,000 years old palm wine from his time in the Timbuktu universities and she accepted. "So tell me about yourself, like how you became a super spy for Wakanda." "I was a commando with the Durham Mileage Unit and a new career opportunity came up so I took it," replied Nakia. "And you are very good at your job so let's toast to that," said Da Vinci. They knocked glasses and then sat at a table. "What does Wakanda want?" asked Da Vinci. "Nothing. We know all about your plot with Chang." "Then why are you here? You asked if Wakanda wanted anything but you didn't ask what I wanted." "Which is to look you in the eye. That's all." "Yes. What do you see in these eyes, my rogue spy?" "A monster." Da Vinci took a sip of his drink and then said, "I have no regrets about that." "What the heck is wrong with you?" "Absolutely nothing, it is people like you who have the problem. You are sheep and I am a shepherd." "Are my methods cruel?" "Absolutely, but they are needed to keep the trajectory of life on the right course." "You sound like every megalomaniac," said Nakia. "That's because I taught everyone one of them in my universities, the Doctor Dooms, the Khan the Conquerors and the Apocalypses. All sat at my feet through history, in the present and in the future," said Da Vinci. "Even Reed Richards, his father, his son, Bruce Banner, Hank Pym, Nicholas Fury and T'Challa learned through me. So you turn to the Omniverse to continue with your teachings. It will not be called an Omniverse when I am finished. It will be known as the Shared Universe. Everyone will be connected, which makes influencing them easier," said Da Vinci. "Wait a minute, did you teach T'Challa when he briefly attended Oxford University?" "Yes, and I was on the board of the Oxford Rhodes Scholarship while I was there too, which also came out of the Rhodesia affair. That's how I knew that he would seek to have an Omniverse Avengers after his meeting with Reed Richards at the signing of the first interdimensional treaty. My two best students have created the model required to police the shared universe that I will take control of, as you already know," replied Da Vinci. Said Nokia. Has your curiosity been satisfied? Yes, replied Nokia. He took her empty glass and left her at the table. Da Vinci doubted that she was there without permission from T'Challa, which made her a diversion tactic. Even if T'Challa told Reed about Da Vinci's scheme, the Immortal still had Reed's presumably deceased Uncle Ted Richards available to influence Reed. I will leave now, said Nokia. Okay. One question though, why have you focused on education? Because arithmetic, reading, and writing are not the real reasons for school. Subtle programming of minds was always the goal. No, you just subverted it for your own ends, said Nokia. He showed her out of the house, and after that he teleported to where he kept Shang's heart. It was in a mystical machine that Da Vinci built that granted Shang immortality as long as the heart was not destroyed. Da Vinci was not comfortable with the heart's present hiding place because T'Challa knew so much, so Da Vinci took the floating machine. Chapter 5 Coney applied her force push technology, and a burst of kinetic energy lifted the siblings away from her. She sought to land a killing blow on one of siblings when she threw her sword at them. The sword spun on its way to T'Challa in mid-air, but he somersaulted over it and Shuri did likewise. Then the sword returned to Coney like a boomerang. Are you still warming up? Asked Coney. T'Challa ignored her as he landed on the head of a statue. He had given Shuri his Spear of Light to use in combination with the Spear of Bashan-Ga, but Coney stood on both weapons while she fought him and Shuri. Also, Shuri's superhuman speed attacks were nullified because of cutting lasers from the ground that surrounded Coney at any moment. T'Challa surmised that they were over the techno-jungle and its weapons assisted Coney. It was clear that the battle was stalemated. He just needed more time to allow Leonardo da Vinci to change a variable in his scheme. When T'Challa found out that da Vinci was his former lecturer at Oxford University, the Black Panther remembered a peculiar trait that the lecturer had: he made last-minute changes when his mind was in doubt. T'Challa finally got the message over his mask's communicator that he waited for. Then he said, "Shuri, we are done here." Then the siblings disappeared and returned to Wakanda.